Originally, I was going to make a video talking about Ruby and how it's not that great and kind of compare it to my series and kind of pull my ideas from it where I guess, things can make a bit of sense where I can put inferences in and kind of be like, oh, this is what Ruby should do or why it doesn't make sense here, and basically kind of go over details that other people have made in their videos talking about Ruby and how they don't like it anymore. But I'm not going to do that. Instead, I think I should just focus on my series and ask the one single question to everything regarding, my series, which is, how come no one really cares about that series? Like, I put a lot of time writing that series, and as I said before, no matter even if it gets 1 view or no views, regardless, I'm still uploading it because I genuinely care about what I write and what I, want to put out there. But the biggest question that is, it remains in the air and something that just cannot be, I guess, unavoided, is the viewership. Now, in the beginning, there was a lot of people that really genuinely did care about, the series, or at least looked like they did care. And then over time, things kind of didn't go that way. And that's part of me because I did, take like time off to kind of focus on how I want to do things in the story and how I want to bring certain moments from here, and here together and stuff like that. And that causes breaks to kind of happen where it was like 2 weeks I'll make a video, and then 3 weeks, then a month, and then whenever the hell I get the chance to do it. And that's basically kind of at the point where we are at now. And on that part, I understand why people may not be so interested in the story, which I understand, that's my B. But when it comes down to everything else, a lot of people don't really seem interested, and I'm compelled to kind of ask why, because I'm gonna be honest, it's not like you're gonna avoid these characters on the channel. You're never ever going to be able to avoid them completely, because I might chuck them into one video, I might chuck them into another video, I might just make more episodes and stuff like that, or skits regarding the series and stuff like that. And there's really just no avoiding that series regardless. But yet there's very few people that does watch it, and I'm honestly compelled to ask why. Mainly, and I understand if you like watching something that's like like a whole bunch of other anime and stuff like that, you just don't have the time. That's understandable. But at the same time, I wish I could get some feedback, because when it comes to the story, so far there's a lot of things I've done and introduced and wanted to do, but I don't necessarily know if it's any good or not, because a lot of people don't really comment or talk about the story at all. And it's just like kind of like, am I doing this just for making it for me? I am, but also I would like for other people to join in and just enjoy the ride of what's happening, and honestly ask a few questions. Honestly, there's only ever been one question one person asked about the series, and they asked, what is the spare and what does it do? And that answer will actually be solved in the finale, which is going to be coming up hopefully very soon. But when it comes down to things, there's not really a lot of interest in the show. And honestly, if this was any other video series I've done, I would immediately drop it, because it will be a waste of time, and just I don't think it will be really that good to pursue it if I continued. But I put too much time, effort, and work into the story of what I try to do here, and that's the reason why I don't also want to drop this at all. And I feel like if it's given a fair shake, I feel like a lot of people would kind of enjoy what it is. Granted, it's not voice acted beautifully, it's not necessarily the most best animated looking thing ever, obviously, but it's still something that I really like to do and just enjoy putting up. Even if no one understands, I guess, where I'm coming from when it comes to it, still I like to just put it up there and just see how it does and create it, because I like to make a story and try to test myself on storytelling and stuff like that. And there's also a lot of things that people might be able to pull from it if they actually voice their opinion about it, like certain moments in the show that maybe that doesn't necessarily make sense, or why didn't this happen when Jay was feeling this sort of way or something like that, and things like that. And there's plenty of things that you could pull from it. It's just I wish a lot more people were just, I guess, interested in the story. I'm not also making this video to force you to be like, alright, watch the series, because it's a lot of episodes. It's 33, 34 episodes. When it comes to this series, it's a lot. I'm not gonna hold you, it is a lot. And even though I have it both in written form on Twitter and have it on, video form, it is a lot. And, it does go through a lot of different things, but I just wish more people was kind of caring to it. Because now I'm kind of low key at a point where I'm just like comparing JSX4 to Ruby, where, I probably shouldn't do that, but at the same time, I just can't help but to do it. And even though Ruby's not that great of a show, still, it still is remaining in a lot of people's, attention spans and remaining in a lot of people's eyes, and people want to kind of see what happens next, even if it's trash. And that's kind of like the thing I'm kind of comparing it to. And that's just unfortunate, but at the same time, it is what it is, and I don't necessarily know how to fix that problem or how to make it more interesting and stuff like that. I don't want to necessarily start putting like story elements into regular videos and stuff like that, because who would really care for that? I don't think a lot of people would, honestly. But when it comes down to things, it's just how do I make it, I guess, interesting, and how do I make it, well, even more interesting than it is. And how do I just, get more people on board? Like, trust me, this is going to be a good series. Because of all the video series I made, I really, outside of the lolly stuff and the create the waifu and everything else, I really want this video series to be the series that people come through for the channel and just be like, alright, well, what the hell happens next with the story and stuff like that, Even though it's a fan fiction and all this type of stuff, that's what I would like to see. But it doesn't feel like that's happening, or at least it's happening anytime soon, and it just feels kind of crappy on my end just a little bit, Like, don't get me wrong, I'm still having fun writing the story, and honestly, the finale is just having a whole bunch of shit that I think you guys will be looking forward to in the video form. But it's just like, how do I get people to be interested in, or what would it take to have that interest to be there to watch it, honestly? Because honestly, again, with Ruby, even though it's looking like it'd be like trash sometimes and making really weird decisions with their characters and story and don't know what the characters and story want to even be, versus my story where it does want to know what it wants to be in some shape or form, it still feel like it doesn't hold a candle to that show, or at least it doesn't hold a candle to just anything in general. And the thing is, with like, hell, with even Ruby, they have like a shit ton of inspiration from different shows and anime and stuff like that. My show strictly comes from just my brain. It doesn't take inference or references from other things outside of a very few things, but it just does what it does what it do, and that's because it's just my brain and how it works and how imaginative I want to be. So when it comes down to things, I just don't know necessarily how to get you guys interested in this story, or if there's even any level of interest in it. Because when we did the poll like a while ago, talking about how many people actually watched the story, a lot of y'all said no, and maybe some of y'all said yes because y'all just wanted to say yes so the vote would look better. But a lot of y'all said no, and the majority was no, and it was like, well, how do I fix that then? Or how can I get you interested into this? Because I really want you guys to just understand what I want to do with this story and how I want to take it here and there. And, not necessarily going down a super serious path of the story, but just make it like something that you can just delve into. I know the story is not for everybody, considering the content that's in it, but at the same time, I want a lot of people to come through and just enjoy for what it is. Just a guy making a story, having fun with things, and just, pushing himself to be a decent storyteller, or at least trying something new that I don't think he can ever really, easily be replicated by someone else, or something of the story. I just want this story to be special in a lot of people's minds, I guess that's really what it comes down to, and actually people look fondly on this channel when it comes to that story. Like, again, I put a lot of work into Blue, Shoko, Aoki, and Yukari, and Miss Saratome, and Jay, and Konako, and everybody else in that story as well. It's just, I would kind of wish more people were interested. I guess that's really what it comes down to. So, yeah, hey, I don't necessarily know what this video is outside of just if you want to be interested in the story, I would be more than happy to see more people to watch it. But, or at least give an idea of what you would do to, maybe consider watching it. Like, what is stopping you from kind of doing it? I would like to know, because it just feels like I have all this stuff and not necessarily be able to just shine it out in the way I would like to. So that's basically really all I want to talk about for this one. So hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on the way out. Also follow me on Twitter. And if you'd like to this channel, Patreon's favorite as well. Until then, it's your boy Jay, signing off. Have a blessed day.